Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little flower that you see right here. Now we're attaching it to our twisted headband that we created on Thursday last week. If you wanted to create the headband, I've left the very first link to the headband in the description box down below or the more section down below, and you can create the headband, return back here and make our gorgeous flower to suit. All right, so today's tutorial, the color combination of this gorgeous flower was chosen by the lovely Fluffy Kitten during one of our lives on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. Marry that up with your country. We do a thing called live antics. I lay some yarn out on a table and I ask one lucky subscriber on the live to choose a colour. And Fluffy Kitten chose a beautiful cream to match this blue twisted headband. Now we've created the headband for Mother's Day, but the headband can also be created for your fella. And if he likes flowers, you can pop the flower on too. Otherwise, the headband does stand on its own, all right? It is a twisted headband, so it's meant to be twisted. Once you pop it on, the flower will look simply divine. All right, so how much would you need and what do you need? Well, I used a cream today. I used 25 grams for mine, but you may need between 25 and 30 grams for your piece. Now, this is an 8-ply DK weight, 3-weight wool, 100% pure wool. It is the same luxury brand as this particular piece here, but you can use whatever you used for your headband. You can use the same color, you can use a different color, you can use, as long as it's the same texture, okay? So make sure it's not too heavy for your twisted headband, yeah? All right, so you need 25 to 30 grams of that. Today I used a 4mm hook, which is what the DK weight called for a 4mm hook, so I used that. You will need some scissors, you will need a sewing needle, definitely need the sewing needle, and you may or may not use the stitch markers. I started using them, but it's not necessary in this tutorial, funnily enough. Now, just know that when you are creating this gorgeous flower, you can make more rounds if you like, so you can make your flower a lot bigger or a lot smaller. If you want it bigger, just keep adding 3 more chains. If you wanted yours smaller, take 3 chains off for however size you want yours. But this is a relatively decent size for this and for any beanie that you may have. Once again, a very special thank you to the lovely Fluffy Kitten for her colour combination in today's tutorial. If you want to choose the colour of our very next tutorial, join us on our lives at 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time, and you too can get a chance to choose a colour combination of our next tutorial. On that note, I'm not going to hold you up anymore. I'm going to let you get started creating your gorgeous flower. Good luck all. All right, guys, we're going to start by making a slip knot. Grab the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there and holding it down there. Grab the back loop, pass it halfway over your finger, hold it there, grab the other loop all the way over, pop your hook in that little loop and just give everything a tug. All right. Now what we're going to do is chain, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through to the loop on your hook once. Don't do these chains too tight, yeah? Yarn over 2, yarn over 3 and 4 and 5. All right, we're going to chain 75. We've already done 5, so I'm going to pop this on fast and I would like you to go right up to 75 and I'll meet you there in just a moment. And it is now 6 and off we go. 7, and 75. All right, so you should have a maximum of 75. Now, if you wanted to make your flower larger, just keep adding 3 chains. So 75, 78, and so on and so on. All right, so let's continue. All right, so yarn over your hook. You're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in your 6th chain you're going to place a double crochet US treble UK. So pop your hook in the top loop of the chain, just the top loop. Pull your loop through like so. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And all you want to do here is just place a stitch marker right in that space. You don't need it for this particular section, but just place it there for the sake of it, all right? We're going to skip 2 chains, so 1, 2, and in your 3rd chain, you're going to put a double crochet US treble UK. That's yarn over your hook into the top loop of that stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And now we're going to chain 2. So that's 1 and 2. And in the same stitch that you are in, or the same chain you are in, you're going to place another double crochet US or treble UK. So yarn over your hook into the same stitch you're in, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And what we're calling this section here is a V-stitch. Even though it's got a chain 2 there, most V-stitches either don't have any chains, just have 2 in the same stitch, or have a chain 1. But there are many versions of a V-stitch, okay? This is the chain 2 version. So yarn over your hook, you're going to repeat that set all the way across. So you're going to skip 1, 2 chains, and in your 3rd one, place your double crochet, chain 1 and 2, and double crochet. I went a bit fast there for you, sorry guys. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet all in the 3rd chain, okay? So yarn over your hook, skip the first 2 chains, hang on, let's see if I can find it first, 1 and 2, and then go into that 3rd chain with your double crochet, chain 1 and 2, and double crochet. Like so. All right, so what you're going to do here is simply that. Skip 1 and 2 and then pop a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into your 3rd. Continue doing that all the way across. Get to your last 3 chains here, pop your final set right there, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, what you have is that. Now I asked you to get to your last 3 chains. So here they are right there, and you can see them. They're hidden, 1, 2 and 3, but they're there, yeah? So what you want to do is pop your last set in that very last chain. So you're skipping your last 2 there, jump into your very last chain and do your double crochet, chain 1 and 2, and double crochet all in the same set like that. All right, so you should have all of your sets all the way across, and what we're going to do, a very simple row now, is chain 1 and 2, 1 and 2, turn your work, and in that space that you are in, you're going to place your first set of V-stitch again, but it's a little different. So yarn over your hook, you're going to start your V-stitch with your double crochet like normal, but you're going to do a second double crochet, like so. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and place 2 more double crochets in the same space. So 1 and, oops, I split the yarn there, excuse me, 2. All right, so what we're going to do here is in every big space you come to, not the tiny little ones there, but in every big V-stitch, if you will, that you come to, you're going to place this other V-stitch, but it's got chain 3s instead. If you're wanting to use the terminology, what you're doing is skipping 2 double crochets, jumping into the V-stitch with 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1, 2 and 3, and 2 double crochets, all in the same set. It is super duper easy because you're going to do that all the way across. So you're going to skip those next 2 double crochets, jump into the space right here, the V-stitch, with 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochets. All right, it's just repetitive, guys. That's all you need to remember. Skip 2, go into your V-stitch with 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1, 2 and 3, and 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. All right, so I don't think I need to show you anymore. I think you know what you're doing. You're going to jump into literally every V-stitch, right, with 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. That is all you're doing all the way across. If you forget, just remember to skip 1 and 2 double crochets and then jump into your space. 1, 2, jump into the space. 1, 2, jump into the space with your 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. All right, so I'm going to let you head off on your own, complete this row, get to your very last set around here, or your second last set. Meet me there once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of the row and your work should kind of twirl and twist up. That's normal. It's normal. And I asked you to get to your second last space just before your stitch marker because your stitch marker space is classified as a V-stitch. You've got your double crochet and then you've got your chain 5 because we popped the double crochet in our chain 6. So that classifies as a double crochet chain 2. So you actually need to pop another set in that space. You can remove the stitch marker. You know what? Let's pop the set in first. You're popping 2 double crochets of 1 and 2. Chain 1, 2 and 3 and 2 double crochets, all in that same last space where your stitch marker is, and you can remove that stitch marker. All right, before we do anything, I'm just going to raise my thread for a minute. I want you to count back your spaces, okay? So you go from that same space that you're in, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Pop a stitch marker in that 6th space. All right, go right to the very end and do the same thing backwards but 8. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and on your 8th place your stitch marker here, because this is the areas where we're going to change the size of our stitches, I should say. And we're going to start a new row with a different kind of stitch. So we finished our row right there. All we need to do is chain 1, turn our work. From here, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch, the second stitch, and then into the space. Slip stitch is popping your hook in the stitch itself, which is, 2 loops on top, like that. See the 2 loops? Yep. Pull a loop through, like so. Slip stitch into the second stitch, pull a loop through, like so. Slip stitch into your space, pull a loop through, and now that we're here, we're going to place what we call half double crochet US, half treble UK. All right, so all you're doing is popping your yarn over your hook into the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. All right, so we're going to do a second one. Yarn over your hook into the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. All right, so what we need to do is place 7 here. We've already done 2. Let's place another 5. Yarn over your hook. That's your third one. 4th. 5th. 6th. And 7th. Before you go in to do another set of 7 half double crochets, you've got a little space right here. So really what you're doing once again is skipping 1, 2 double crochets, but in that little space you're placing a single crochet, and that single crochet US, double crochet UK, pop your hook in that space, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Right now we're going to do another 7 half double crochets in that space. So skip 1, 2 double crochets and do your half double crochet US, half treble UK in that space, and you need 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, I'll slow down, guys. 5, 6, and 7. So right now you have 2 sets of 7 half doubles and 1 little single crochet in between. That's what you're going to do until your stitch marker. So what we're going to do once again is skip 2 and do a single crochet US, double crochet UK in that space. All right, so you're skipping 1 and 2, going into the small space with a single crochet. All right, then you hop into the big space, you skip 1 and 2 with 7 half doubles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, simple. Skip 2, single in the small space. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, skip 2, 7 in the big space. 7 half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoops, and 7. Skip 2, single in the small space. All right, so it's very simple, but we're getting to that stitch marker now. 7 half double crochets in your big space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yes? And a single in that small space. All right, so let's just talk quickly what you did. You did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of half double crochets in there, plus your 5 single crochets. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Now we've got that stitch marker stitch. The reason it's there is because we're going to remove it and we're going to start doing doubles instead of half doubles. So that's double crochet US, treble UK. So what you do is jump into that space with a double crochet. 1, you want 7, don't you? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And she's singing now, guys. Single crochet in your next space. That has not changed, okay? You're going to now do 7 double crochets into each one of these large spaces, yeah? And single crochets into the small spaces all the way across until you get to that last small space, which you will pop a single crochet in before you get to your next stitch marker. All right, so your job now is to place 7 double crochets into your large space, single into the small, 7, single, 7, single, 7, and so on all the way across. Place your last single crochet into that space before your stitch marker. Meet me there once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so I asked you to get to the very last single crochet If you've done your last set of 7 and haven't done your single crochet in that small space, do that first. Make sure you weren't missing your single crochets, yeah? All right, so what we're going to do here is normally we would do doubles. We're going to do trebles. That's treble US, double treble UK, which means normally when we do a double, it's yarn over your hook once. In this case, it's going to be yarn over your hook twice. So you go once and twice in the space, pull a loop through, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through 2. 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and you're going to do 6 more of these. So 1 and 2, into the space, pull a loop through, 4 loops, yarn over, 2, 3 loops, yarn over, 2, 2 loops, yarn over, 2. All right, you can remove that stitch marker now. We've done 2. We need to do another 5 more. So this is our third one, and off we go doing our third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and 7th. So instead of having 7 double crochets, you now have 7 trebles. So it's a larger stitch. All right, but what you're going to do here is exactly the same for the singles. So all you're doing is skipping your 2, doing your single in that small space, like so, skipping your 2, and now you're doing trebles in your sets from now on. No more half doubles and no more doubles, just trebles all the way across. All right, I don't think I need to show you this. What I want you to do is 7 trebles in your big space, single in your small one. 7 trebles, 1 single. 7 trebles, 1 single, 7 trebles, 1 single, all the way across. Get to your last single right there. Or you know what, you can do your 7 trebles in there, complete your 7 trebles and wait for me there. All right, so head off on your own, do your 7 1 7 1 7 1 all the way across. When you get to your last space, meet me there and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so I asked you to get to the end of the row and you'll have a whole lot of twisting and pulling, and that's normal, it's normal. All right, so I asked you to, let me get a close up for you. I asked you to pop your single crochet in your last small space and then your last 7 trebles in the big space. If you have a big space left, you need to pop 7 trebles in there and you should be left with 2 double crochets, which is normal. All right, so what you want to do, right, you want to now chain 1, or should I say pull up a loop, and you want to make your tail, oh, I don't know, really long, but you want this to be really long because you are going to be, maybe that's too long, so I went 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, and 3. Let's bring it out so you can see what I did. Just 1, 2, 3, even that looks like it's too long, way too long, but you still want to give yourself plenty of tail. Better to be safe than sorry. Just give it a bit of a tug, leave that tail there, grab your sewing needle. You're going to weave in that base thread. Remember the little one? We're going to weave that in just to get it out of the way because it will be in the way later and we won't know what we're doing. All right, so move your big tail out the way for a minute. Just grab this tail and I would literally pop it back in. Oh, let's bring that up for a minute. Back into the very first stitch that you did right there. So just through a few little loops there, just pop it through. You won't be able to see it anyway, but pop it through and then just weaving it in through these 4 stitches right here. You can go further, just find a separate stitch somewhere, so split it somewhere else. You can go further in, which we're going to do, so that's one way, yeah. And we're going to go back in there, but we're going to go further in this time. So we'll go there like that and just go into a couple of chains here and then maybe, oh, we'll do the chains first so that we can get through, and then maybe go into the next stitch. It's just to get it out of the way. Yeah, go back and just put it through in a different section And that'll do. I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's going to be tucked in. It will not ever come out. As long as you've weaved it in 2 or 3 times, yeah? All right, so now what you want to do is rethread your needle with the very, very long tail, yeah? Your really long tail is threaded. But if you look carefully to where your tail ends up, it's way up there. We need it down here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So what we're going to do is just run our little sewing needle, go through some stitches. Doesn't matter how, just go through some stitches all the way down. It won't be noticed. Don't pull it too tight because it might tug. So what you're going to do is just go through some stitches like that. That's it. Nothing fancy. Going right through some stitches. I'll show you a close-up so you can see what I'm doing. There's the next set of stitches. We're going to go right down to the chains, yeah? So all you're doing is finding some threads and you're just going through them, really. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just to get it down the base because that's where we're going to start work. All right, don't pull it too tight. All right, we're almost there. One more, which is right there. And just pull it through to the base of your work. All right, leave it there. Now we're going to go over to the area where there's no tails at all. And what we want to do is start rolling our piece. But before we do, let's have a look. That's the last row we did, and we worked along here, and it's nice and neat, yeah? We want the row that's not so neat. It's kind of bubbly and, you know, it's just bubbly, yeah? Because if you fold it the other way, which you can do, you make a small, tight flower. But what we want is a wide flower. We want it to be tight, but we also want it to be like out rather than squashed in. So find the wrong side of your work, which is there, and you can see it's very bubbly, and you want to roll that wrong side up. All right, so that's the base. We're going to need to sew that together. So just keep your chains even all the way up. Your chains need to be right next to each other. So just roll, and if it helps, you pop your thumb in the middle there if it helps, and you just keep rolling, and you're not tightening anything, you're just rolling it. So that's what you're looking at, keeping that, all of it needs to be visible so that you can sew along there later across different ways, all right? So just keep your chains even. So here we are, we're right there. What you needed is something like that. But you also needed to make sure that all your chains are visible because we're going to sew through the chains one way, go over there, sew that way, go over here, sew that way, and so on. It doesn't matter as long as you sew through everything. Now your thread is already at the base, which is why we put it there on purpose, right? So I don't know what you want to do, and if you want to swap it to your other hand, I don't know which hand you're going to use to sew, but I'm going to hopefully keep it nice and steady, and we're going to sew through some of the chains right there. And you're going through each chain that you can get into, right in through to the opposite side like so. And it's going through all thicknesses. Make sure you're getting all thicknesses or your flower will come undone, and it will. Okay, so when you pull it, just give it a gentle tug. Don't pull too tight because we have sewn through there. All right, we later are going to go back in here and attach to keep that from coming undone. So what you want to do here, same thing. Move over one stitch, just there, for the sake of moving over, right? And from here, you're going to go down the same way you did before. So go through, we'll do the next stitch right there. Going through all thicknesses, as many as you can, right through to the other side. You have to go through all of them if you can, hopefully. If you've wound it up properly, you'll get through all of them, all right? So same here, you're just going to jump over to the next stitch and do exactly the same thing. So I think I've done plenty right there. It's no big deal. You can do more if you like, but I think that's plenty. If you want that to be closed, then what you want to do, and this is what I'm going to do, not necessary for you to do this, but if you want that closed, I would go up a little bit. Again, not necessary. You've got to come back down anyway because we've got to attach this to our headband, yeah? You can go right in through all the stitches like so. And then attach him to the top right there. It's not necessary. That kind of closes down when you put him on the beanie, or on the beanie on your headband, I should say, but I like to close it up. Again, not necessary. All right, so once you've done all of that and your flower is all attached, grab your headband. This is the best part, guys. This is the fun part. You've done your headband. Remember, if you haven't done a headband, I've left the first link in the description box down below for you to create your headband. Naughty me has forgotten, we're still up here. I would just grab my sewing needle and bring it right back down to the center somewhere because we need to attach from the center, like that. So find anywhere you like where you want to attach. I'm going to start from one section, like from one side, and then pop it on there like so. Yeah, so find a spot where you want to start, anywhere you like, just pop your thread right through, your needle right through your headband. It's very simple, that's all it is, right through your headband. And what you want to do, keep it as straight as possible that you think is straight enough. Does it make any sense? That you think is straight enough. So turn your work and pop your thread back into your headband like so, and back into the flower. But before you pop it in the flower, make sure it's centered and even. Yeah, I know this looks a little awkward, guys, but it does work nicely. And you want to go down to the base of the stitches. Don't go through the flower or it's going to be noticeable. So through the base of those stitches. Ow, don't pin yourself like I just did. Don't you love it? She does it all the time. Every time I use sewing needles on the channel. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. I would continue to go through your piece like so, just anywhere you want. All right, so guys, I'm really fussing too much, but you do the best you can. If you find that's too wobbly, do some more. I think that should do it. So what I'm going to do now is just pop my needle back into the blue headband, like so. Get everything out the way for a minute. Just back in there, and that's pretty much it. And I'm going to weave my tail in through the headband. Just pull it through. I've got hair everywhere. Can you believe I've already got hair on it? So there you go. Just weave it in and out of your headband. Now I think we're done. Once you've weaved it in 2, 3 times, 4, whatever you find is the best way. Some people do just add a button so they can replace the flower occasionally using a red flower or pink flower next time. That would have been also a good way of doing it. I think I've weaved this in enough, don't you? How many did I do? 4, 5? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Weave it in really well. Cut your thread. I used a lot of thread. That's way too much. All right, so there you go. And there's your beautiful flower attached to your headband. Don't you love it? All right, guys, so thank you very much for joining us today in creating this beautiful flower for our headband. Remember, guys, if you have not created your headband, the link to that is in the description box down below. And a very special thank you once again for the colour of the flower today, chosen by the lovely Fluffy Kitten. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Do all the wonderful things that you guys pretty much already do for me, and I will catch you all very soon. My name is Mary and this is Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.